everybody! So I know it's been a while. I just don't know what happened, I guess, with school and everything. I got super busy, but I have sort of a book haul that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm gonna start it off with this graphic novel. If you guys have seen this around and you're wondering why you keep seeing it everywhere, it's because it's very good. It's called The Wicked and the Divine, and it's about every 90 years, 12 gods return as young people to rule over the earth. They have 2 years to live and then they die. There's a murder mystery, it gets really complicated, and there's this girl that's following them around who wants their powers. She's just this normal average person who gets caught up in the murder mystery, and it's just a really interesting story so far. I read the first one, which is this one, and I do have the second one here as well. So go check that out, The Wicked and the Divine. It's by Gillian McKelvey and Winston Cowles. Okay, awesome sauce. Another book that I got recently, getting into a spiritual mode, is Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul by Deepak Chopra. If you've never read a Deepak Chopra book, he is an MD, a doctor from India who has come to share a lot of information about their culture and then transforming it into accessible literature for Westerners, sorry, like us in the United States. So I really enjoy his books. I definitely love his talks. I think he has a center here in New York that you can go visit. I believe that they were hosting free meditation last time I checked, so that's something that you definitely want to check out if you're here in New York or ever in the area. The Chopra Center in Manhattan is very cool. I've about halfway finished with this book. There's a lot of themes that I'm very familiar with already, but if you're not familiar with meditation and the reinvention of the body, and the reinvention of DNA, and just start off with something simple. Start off by reading The Secret, which is about the law of attraction and attracting certain energies towards you and certain results. And that would be the best start. It's in DVD form, so you don't have to read the book. And I think that the DVD is more effective because a lot of people are visual learners. But if you are already into that kind of new age lifestyle, then just pick up any Deepak Chopra book. I also don't have it up here, upstairs. I forgot it downstairs, but I also picked up Life After Death, which I have already read, and it was very good, and I lent that book to everybody, and I don't know who has it anymore. So one thing you'd want to know is do not lend books to people. You never get them back. Direct them to their local library and you're done. Or take them book shopping like I do and influence them to buy a bunch of books. Okay. This I picked up recently. My library sells books for like 50 cents, from 5 cents to 50 cents. So of course I kind of go crazy whenever I'm in there. And last time I was in there, I picked up this New York Times bestseller, which I always find to be a good sign, called The 13th Tale, which is an author, this is sort of like a gothic novel, which I have no idea what that means. I'm just telling you what's on the back of the book. So yeah, there's that. Everyone knows Pearl S. Buck, I think, because this is a contemporary classic, which is The Good Earth. It won the Pulitzer Prize, which I always find a great sign. I mean, if it won a Pulitzer Prize, I'm most likely gonna enjoy it. That's how I felt about The Hours. I read The Hours, and it was so different from the movie, and the fact that just the experience of reading a Pulitzer Prize was amazing. Next, I have Scarlet, which is the continuation from Gone with the Wind. I am obsessed. Oh, this is by Alexandra Ripley, and the author of Gone with the Wind is Margaret Mitchell. As you can see, I got it for 48 cents because I go to the Strand. It's New York City's best, and it should be New York City's only bookstore because it is amazing. 50 cents. Okay, first of all, Scarlet, only read it if you're as obsessed with Gone with the Wind as I am. Only read it then, because otherwise you are not going to enjoy it. You're not going to understand what's going on. And if you haven't read Gone with the Wind in your lifetime, you're missing out on what I like to call my favorite book of all time and the greatest love story ever told. ever. Forget all the Disney movies. Gone with the Wind is it. How did I feel about this book? Well, it's not Margaret Mitchell, but the author did try to paint the picture of a historic Charleston, South Carolina. Is it North Carolina? I think it's South. So, I mean, I can give her props for that, but some of the things that Scarlett O'Hara did seemed a little theatrical. A lot of the things she did seemed very likely, something she would do, something she would plan. But I thought she was more feminine in this book than I expected. Like, there was a scene where they're taking a boat ride, and then there comes a storm, and then they're stranded on an island, and they end up making a baby. And I'm just like, that would not happen in Gone with the Wind. No, that's some other shit. That's some other stuff that I... Anyway, another book that I picked up is I go to this place in Long Island that gives out free books inside their restaurant. And of course, I always dabble. And I picked up Jerry Seinfeld's Sign Language. And I'm showing you this way because I don't have the other way. I'm a huge fan of Seinfeld, so hopefully I'm able to understand his humor, his sarcasm through the books. Because it's very different listening to... Not every comedian can really capture comedy written in a written form, which is crazy because they write their own jokes, but delivery is very much your energy and your presentation, and I'm just not sure if I'm going to be able to understand his level of sarcasm, but I will try. The next book that I picked up I got for $1.50, and it's a Penguin classic, which I try to fill my library up with as many classics as possible because I like to take breaks from the whole YA science fiction thing, and every once in a while read something a little more highbrow, if you know what I mean. And of course, this is about a monastery, yeah, it's set in Ireland. There's a lot of Celtic Christianity, as you can see on the cover, and it's called Adomnan of Iona, Life of Saint Columba. So, yeah, there we go. It's a Penguin classic, translated by Richard Sharp. So, I don't know if it's going to be great, but then again, it's a classic, so I have a lot of faith in them, and I do not judge. Next, I picked up a classic, which I believe I read when I was a little kid. It also has the John Newbery Medal for Most Distinguished Contribution to American Literature for Children. If you haven't read this book, then your childhood is missing a really, really great, like, sci-fi dystopian, a fairy tale. It talks about a tesseract, which is a wrinkle in time, so it has a little bit of, like, the question of time travel, and it really is good for children to open up their minds to science and to possibilities, and it's such a short story. I mean, what is this, 100 pages? It's 200 pages on a big print, and it'll just fly by. If you haven't read A Wrinkle in Time, it's so good. You have to read it. What are you doing? Next, I actually picked this up, I believe, for $5 from the Strand, and it is a Michael Crichton book, which, if you do not know, he is the writer of Jurassic Park, and so he wrote a sci-fi novel called The Andromeda Strain, and it's basically, you know, a sci-fi about some viral, contagious, anyway. Okay, so it's basically about biophysicists giving a warning to the United States government, and there are certain probes, and there's things about the atmosphere, and it's a mess. It is one giant mess. So there's that. Another book that I picked up was Anthony and Cleopatra by Shakespeare. I'm not a good Shakespeare reader. I had to read Romeo and Juliet with the translation on the side. I have a book that has, like, translation on the left in plain English, and then, like, Shakespearean English on the right. And I had to flip back and forth in order to really appreciate what was going on. Like, it sounds like people are doing a dance, and then you realize that they got stabbed. They're not dancing. Someone stabbed the other person. Like, what? So this one doesn't have the translation. but there is a long explanation at the end and a long explanation in the beginning. So, and this one isn't as challenging as what I would say is Romeo and Juliet. So I picked it up. It's a new revised version. Give it a chance. This one I'm really excited about. If you guys have never seen Food Inc., it has revolutionized the way that I do my grocery shopping, the way that I eat, the things that I feel strongly about and believe in when it comes to food. Food Inc., this was terrific documentary. Go ahead and watch it. Also, Cowspiracy, instead of, conspiracy with Cowspiracy. That was also a very interesting documentary that you should watch about food and about dairy in particular. Just the quality of dairy that we get here in the United States is really bad, and the quality of meat and chicken that we get is also terrible. No, don't even get me started on your eggs. So you really want to learn about the kind of food that you're putting into your stomach, and you really want to learn about why the United States is one of the sickest countries when we have such an advanced medical system. Why are we one of the sickest countries? Well, it's about our food. That's why most of the way we eat and most of our food and the things we put in our food is banned in Europe, because it's just bad for you. It causes cancer and all these other problems, and it's linked to all of these heart issues, and just don't get me started. Read the documentary. I bought the book because I want to flip through it, because every time you buy a book, they always give you a lot of more scientific data, and I'm a kind of a nerd when it comes to numbers, so I like that kind of stuff. I like data and charts and comparisons and peer-reviewed papers and all that mumbo jumbo. The next one that I got for $1, and it is about remaking commerce, culture, and consciousness. So it's a book about marketing, and it's called The Substance of Style. Why did I pick this up? Honestly, I have no idea. I'm interested in learning about America's cultural aesthetic overall, which I always like, and I always read articles here and there about that topic, but I don't necessarily pick up the book. This is by Virginia Postrel. The Substance of Style. We'll see how it is. If it's awesome, I'll let you guys know. I'm probably not going to get to this right now because I also have this. Ta-da! The Phantom of the Opera is here. Gaston Leroux wrote it, as you can see. I'm a huge fan of Phantom of the Opera. Love the movie. Never got the chance to see it on Broadway. Will do it one day. I'm gonna have that amazing experience. I live in New York, but as you know, you don't really take advantage of all the things there are to do in the city that you live in, because you just get so spoiled and comfortable. And I'm one of those people, but I definitely need to go see this. So I got the book to pressure myself to read one of my favorite movies of all time. And lastly, I got this science fiction classic. Can't believe I've never read it. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I have been putting this off for years. I've been trying to read it. It's been on my Goodreads will I read it list, and I just can't. So hopefully I get through it, because I just got a call from my library today, and I've requested American Gods by Neil Gaiman. It is in. I read half of that book last year. I never finished it because I got sick. I had to get a surgery. I had an accident, and then I was in recovery, and I just returned the book because I couldn't deal with it at the moment. So I'm going to try to pick up where I left off. And let me tell you, Neil Gaiman, American Gods was very good. Coraline, his graphic novel, was awful. I hated it. It was weird. I didn't get it. It was flat. No. But American Gods was very good. So I will give you that. Alright, everybody. That's all I have to share with you today. Goodbye and enjoy the books. If you recognize any of these novels or these authors or the movies that I mentioned, then go ahead and leave a comment below. Tell me if you have any tips on how to read Shakespeare. I need your help. Okay.